morning and welcome to After GMS. We are live here on the WFMI News 2 Facebook page. So glad to see so many of our regulars and some new faces joining us this morning. I'm Megan Malaris alongside Stacey Spivey and Taran Kirksey.
And I just can't help but get distracted by the beautiful view on either side of you, Triad. I mean, obviously, I guess it's good to look at you too, but you can see that sunrise out there over the Triad, just absolutely stunning. And it's really nice outside, maybe a little chilly though this morning.
Yeah, the temperature is probably the only big deal out there this morning. We're starting out in the 30s and the 40s, but we will warm up as we go through the afternoon. Nothing too terribly warm, but we'll take upper 60s. That's not too bad. I do think we'll see some high cloud cover start to stream in from the west as we go through the day, especially the afternoon hours, and that's just a sign of things to come. The clouds will thicken up overnight, maybe a shower or two tonight, but most of us dry at that point. However, rain chances will go up at times as we head through the day on Wednesday. And I think we'll see at least the potential for a severe storm or two tomorrow afternoon, maybe early tomorrow evening as the cold front moves on through. But it's going to be a similar situation to Sunday. You know, the timing is going to be critical here. If the cold front arrives a little bit earlier than expected around midday, then that's going to lessen the severe weather threat. Not going to make it zero, but it will be lower. But if it does come through during the peak heating of the day, then that's when we'll see the severe threat a little bit higher. Damaging wind gusts would be the main concern there, but of course you can't rule out anything when you have severe weather potential, so we will watch that for you. Behind that system, it's downright cold on Thursday, and you can't say I didn't tell you. Thursday is going to not feel good. Temperatures near 50 degrees at best, and it's going to be windy. You put that all together, it's going to feel much colder than that. It's going to feel more like the 30s, maybe low 40s at times. By Friday morning, we'll see a freeze, likely for everyone, and then we could see another freeze on Saturday morning. Then we turn the corner starting Saturday afternoon, highs back in the upper 50s, and then by Easter Sunday, it'll start off kind of chilly with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s, but I think we will have a decently warm afternoon with highs back in the upper 60s to low 70s. That's a quick look at your 7-day forecast.
So pretty like spring-like temperatures for today, and spring brings out, you know, pretty flowers here in the Triad. It also brings out pollen and people to enjoy its warmth, but sadly it brings out snakes. We want to know if you've seen any snakes lately, maybe in your yard or your garden. Let us know in the comment section below. Now, some of you have already shared your experiences with us. One viewer says, I saw a small black snake slithering under my washer Saturday morning. I figured it came in around a pipe nearby, so I quickly sealed it off. Yeah, I bet that gave you quite a fright. Stephanie says she killed one on her back door last week. CRM hasn't seen any so far, but says he has an axe ready and just in case. Yikes. And this little guy was a visitor to a Triad home on Saturday morning. Now that's the kind of snake I would like to see if I have to see one, but they're not my favorite animal, I have to say, and be honest with you guys. So go ahead and let us know in the comment section below, and let us know if you've seen any snakes. We had one in our yard this week. I fortunately did not come face to face with it. My husband was the one that discovered it, but you know, it was small, and so he just kind of let it go away, which is really what the experts recommend. They say obviously this is the time of year they've been hiding all winter to stay warm, and they're coming out to get something to eat, and they're more scared of you than you are scared of them, and so just kind of let them go and do their own thing, unless of course they're, you know, threatening you in any way.
Right, yeah, as you said, most snakes are harmless and have great benefits, keeping, you know, the populations, the ecosystem thriving. We saw a small black snake, or I didn't see it, which I guess is the point of the story. The other day we were on a family walk down one of the local greenways. I was talking to my young son about the deer in the woods and the frogs, you know, just enjoying our time, when all of a sudden my husband said, Megan, you need to really watch where you're going, because there was a black snake that just slithered across the road in front of the stroller. You know, I hadn't seen it, so we could have run over the snake, and then I don't know what would have happened, but thankfully it wasn't that case. But just another reminder that this is that time of year we are in the snakes environment, not the other way around. So being respectful of nature, of course, is a priority. But yes, I've also seen the hiking trails lately, as they do every year, warn about the potential for copperheads and some of the more venomous snakes out there. So watch where you're walking, I think, is the key takeaway, Triad.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to your surroundings for sure. I think it's interesting that we're getting all these reports of black snakes. Megan, you all encountered one on your walk. I saw one in my yard yesterday. One of our viewers mentioned that they saw one too. I'm sure it's probably some specific type of snake, but I have no idea what that snake is. I'm not a snake expert, but they're out there. They're starting to head out and about. So we ran a story from an expert that just said make sure you clear out around your house. You don't have just piles of wood and junk laying around that the snakes can hide in. But to you all's point as well, most snakes are harmless, and the ones that aren't looking to hurt you, they're going to defend themselves if they deem it necessary. So of course you have to keep that in mind, but just try to make sure you're paying attention and stay out of their way, and they'll stay out of your way, and everybody's happy. Just make sure you socially distance with the snakes. Always, forever.
Yes, always. And there are certain distinctions and marks on snakes that let you know if they're venomous or not, and if they are threatening or not. Obviously, I'm not the expert to tell you what that is. I know some of them, maybe it's like a diamond shape of sorts on their backs and everything, but you can easily find that online on a website to make sure, the snake that you saw, it was, venomous or not. But some people weighing in, telling us what they've seen. Joe says no snake sightings here. Bobby, not yet. But Susan says she saw one in her sister's neighborhood. Claudia said no, and I pray I don't see any. I think most of us do. Let's see. Charlie said no, not in my yard. The last snake I saw was last June. And it was a big copperhead. Whew, those are the scary ones that you definitely do not want to see. Let's see. Also, a copperhead in Graham is what Debbie said. And Nadine said, I saw my first snake ever yesterday in my barn. Christina, OMG critters. I hate those things. Yeah, the creepy and crawly things are just, ugh. Yuck.
Yeah. So I just linked in the comments here a page, I think it's to the North Carolina Parks and Recs. It's a federal website here, or a state website, I should say, that has all of the indigenous snakes to North Carolina. Evidently, there is such a snake called the black snake, and then there's the black rat snake, and then it tells you which ones are venomous or not. So copperhead, we've mentioned, is venomous. The timber rattlesnake is venomous. Eastern diamondback, Stacey, you mentioned that diamond characteristic, which was good. Carolina pygmy rattlesnake, coral snake, which is a beautiful coloring, and then the cottonmouth snake.
Ooh.
Ooh.
None of which look like you want to encounter. They all look
But I would say most that you find in your yard are usually pretty tame.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people get the king snake confused with one of the venomous ones, but the king snake is actually a good snake that I think kills the bad ones. I think it kills and eats the bad ones. So just be cautious about what you do if you do see one. If you can, just avoid it. Let it go. Live its life. It's going to help our, what's the word I'm looking for?
The ecosystem.
Yes, the ecosystem.
Yep.
Thank you, scientist Triad.
No, you're right, Stacey. I'm looking at the colorations on that chart that I just linked. The eastern king snake has coloring similar to the copperhead, so I can see how people would get that confused.
Yes, growing up in Arkansas, I was a very adventurous little child that liked to play outside a lot. So early on, my parents had to let me know, okay, Stacey, if you see a snake, which I did often from playing outside in the woods because we had a house that was surrounded by woods, they let me know early on to be careful and what to look for.
Yeah.
So
don't pick it up and bring it home.
No. Well, you can keep weighing in on this conversation. Let us know what you've seen and just be careful out there.
All right, will do. Let's get to our morning headlines before we get to our second talker today. A devastating story here. A 4-year-old is recovering after being hurt in a drive-by shooting in Winston-Salem last night. Police say it happened around 9:30. They say 2 people in a car drove up to a crowd of people on New Hope Lane and started firing. Investigators say the child was hit in the arm either by shrapnel or a bullet. His injuries are not life-threatening, thankfully, and nobody else was hurt. Police have not released any suspect information. All lanes of a busy Greensboro roadway have reopened this morning after a crash closed the lanes in both directions for hours last night. This is video from the scene on Market Street near where it intersects with English Street. The crash involved a car and a motorcycle. Greensboro police say one person was hurt but did not give details on condition. The remainder of Group 4 won't have to wait much longer to get vaccinated in North Carolina. Shots will open for all of Group 4 tomorrow. The remainder of that group includes essential workers not yet vaccinated, like people in construction, hotels, public works. It also includes college students, thousands of whom live and learn here in the Triad. Vaccinations open to everyone April 7th. This pandemic has hit businesses especially hard in the year since the onset of coronavirus in North Carolina. Some have had to close their doors permanently. Others now are finding fresh starts and setting up shop in the heart of the Gate City. WFM-2's Denise McMiller highlights some of the new attractions you'll find as the community continues reopening.
Well, some of the longtime downtown businesses are getting some new neighbors. And if you don't visit downtown often, you may want to this summer because some of what's to come is the first of its kind to the downtown area. One of the new businesses is a wine bar. In just a couple of months, they will open. Lewis and Elm on South Elm is already in the hiring process. They'll offer wine, of course, beer, cheese, and light refreshments. A luxury skincare line company recently opened on East Market Street. You'll find face serums, body butters, Joni products, and much more. The owner opened their first brick and mortar out of necessity.
When the country shut down, our online sales quadrupled. The packages were to the ceiling in our home and garage. And people were asking if they could meet us in store parking lots, at the gas station. They wanted to come to our home. And I told my husband, I said, I think it's time that we got a physical location.
And you may want to brush up on your bowling skills. Downtown is getting its first bowling alley. Bourbon Bowl on South Elm Street will have 6 indoor lanes. They'll have food and drinks as well. And we're still waiting to hear back from the bowling alley on an opening date, but you can find more information on these new businesses and other recently opened businesses in the downtown area on our website at WFMYnews2.com.
Well, now it's time for our next conversation. Today is National Doctors Day, and we want you to help show some love to healthcare workers out there. So shout out your favorite physician in the comments section below. We want to say thank you to all of our Triad area doctors, especially those who have spent this past year fighting COVID-19. These are just some of the many faces from Cone Health and Avant Health on the front lines of this pandemic. We are grateful for each and every one of you and all that you do. Happy National Doctors Day. Some of you already sharing your favorite doctors on Megan and I's Facebook pages. Bobby writes, this is an easy one for me. I'm giving Dr. Mark Herman a huge shout out. He's an orthopedic doctor / surgeon in Danville, Virginia, who fixed me up 5 years ago. Debbie says Dr. Sonia Cates with Avant Health in Winston-Salem. She is absolutely the most caring, courteous, friendly, and informed physician I have ever been to. Dee writes, thank you, doctors Ronald Davis and Chris Sullivan at Wake Forest Baptist. Without you two, the cancer in my thyroid would have not been discovered and treated so fast. That's incredible. Barbara says, I had open heart surgery 4 years ago. My cardiac team at Moses Cone were absolutely amazing. Shout out to Dr. Owens and Dr. Katrina Nelson. Some incredible people that have been fighting on the front line since the beginning of this, and not just doctors, but nurses, medical professionals, healthcare workers, all across the board. We just want to say thank you for all that you've been doing throughout the past year and even before that, and what you're going to do in the future. I do have to give a specific doctor a shout out, Dr. Kathy Richardson, who has been my OBGYN and just kind of my saving grace during this time. Megan actually knows her as well. She's just been, whenever I've been stressing about baby stuff and scared and anxious and with a million questions, and I'm like, well, will you double check this? She has just been kind of this calm voice for me, which all the doctors at that office have been absolutely wonderful to me and my family. So I'm very, very, very gracious, but there are just so many. I mean, I could just go out on a list.
Yeah.
And also I do want to mention that Mr. Ben Smart, one of our anchors and reporters here at WFMY News 2, is actually in medical school to be a doctor. So I want to thank him for everything he's done as well.
Yeah, we have so many incredible doctors and nurses here in the Triad, but today is National Doctors Day, so we'll focus on the physicians. I can't even start to name names. There are so many who have been so welcoming to me. You know, when you start a new job in a new city, and for me this was the case 8 years ago, I just had to go with referrals from coworkers on doctors because you kind of have to start from scratch and scheduling and finding out who takes your insurance, and it's a huge process. But every one of the doctors that I've had has just been exceptionally welcoming and warm and that calm voice of reason. The doctor I've seen the most over this past year is my son's pediatrician. And he has been such a calming voice of reason, understanding that new parents especially have a ton of questions and are probably more apt than more experienced parents to bring their children in at every little thing just to get them checked out, just to make sure. And so I just appreciate his understanding of that and encouragement. You know, you're doing a good job, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's all okay. So I appreciate that. And then I also want to shout out my cousin and her husband. They are OBGYNs in St. Louis. They have been working throughout this pandemic very hard, and they're actually expecting their own little one coming soon. So it's just a great day to celebrate all that they and fellow physicians have done to Rand throughout this pandemic. It's been a challenging year, especially for frontline healthcare workers.
Oh, certainly. I mean, you know, they have been putting themselves at extreme risk, more risk than the rest of us during this pandemic in order to try to keep us safe, not only from that, but also still have to deal with all the other medical issues that human beings, you know, have to encounter and have to battle. So we certainly thank all of you all for all the work that you have done and the risk that you put yourself and your families in to continue to do your jobs diligently. And so we certainly do appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. Karen says, big shout out to my very varied medical team. Happy National Doctors Day. And Nadine gave a shout out to her vet. She had a rough day yesterday. She said that Dr. Angelique Fuller at King's Crossing got my son and I through a bad day yesterday. My 16-year-old Cocker Spaniel Bear passed away. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Sorry. It is so hard to lose a pet in your family. And those vets really, they have a very stressful job at times. I can never do what they do. So definitely want to include them in saying thank you for everything, because through this pandemic, pets have been a lot of support and just someone to hold and cry to. You know, they just love and love. So Nadine, we're just thinking about you. I know that's really hard. Joanne says our favorite doctors are Dr. R. Stugart, and if I mispronounce anybody's name, I am very sorry. And Dr. Kelly at Maplewood Family Practice, who always have time for me, never in a hurry. Carol says Dr. Ray at Deep River Health and Wellness in Asheboro.
Awesome. I love to see all of these shout outs. It's just encouraging to know we have exceptional health care in the Triad. No matter what city you are in or where you go, you're going to be treated the right way. So that's great.
Yeah. So again, thank you to all the doctors out there. Happy National Doctors Day. If you have one in your life, maybe, you know, send them a text or Facebook message and let them know you're grateful for all that they do.
Well, Taran, we wish you could doctor the forecast a little bit, warm it up later this week.
I'm doing the best I can to patch it back up, you know, after this cold weather. We're going to be a little bit better off this afternoon and also tomorrow as far as temperatures are concerned. But as temperatures go up this time of the year, you know what happens. It also means that rain chances will go up. I think we'll see showers and storms from time to time tomorrow. A few of those could be on the strong to severe side, especially tomorrow afternoon. We'll have to watch that behind that system. Here we go again with temperatures going back down. Thursday is the day that I'm really looking at as to be the worst day over the next 7 days as far as temperatures are concerned. It's going to be cold. Highs near 50, and that might be a little optimistic, but we'll see how things shake out. And when you factor in winds that are going to be very gusty at times on Thursday, it's going to feel much colder than that. By Friday morning, we'll have a morning freeze with temperatures dipping down to the 20s. So we'll probably have another freeze on Saturday morning. And then after that, we will start to see some improvement as far as temperatures go. We're back in the upper 60s to low 70s on Easter Sunday afternoon. And I think we'll see temperatures around that as well by Monday afternoon. So all in all, this is a pretty average springtime 7-day forecast. A few warm days, a few really cold days, and a chance of thunderstorms. So there you go.
There you go.
That's it.
Drop it right there. I'm
Spring.
just glad about the exciting Easter forecast. Good for some egg hunts, hopefully.
Oh yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, if you're doing some of that, Sunday afternoon, it should be okay. Sunday morning, maybe a little on the chilly side, but Sunday afternoon is looking pretty good.
Be perfect for all those Easter outfits. I know a lot of moms have been planning for months.
Gotta get the pastels out and the,
Oh, yeah.
the little three-piece suits on the little kids.
Yeah, the outfits you got to get on early and take your picture right away because it's going to get destroyed in about 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Especially by little boys. All right, thanks so much for starting your morning with us on After GMS. We do this every weekday at 7:45.
Yeah, we hope that you have a great rest of your day and join us tomorrow here on After GMS. See you later.